I wanted to explore a little bit more a phrase I often use in our exploration. And the phrase is the play of life. The play of life. And what that idea points to. Because life can sometimes be experienced as very dramatic, just like a play, a dramatic play. It's gripping, it's alarming, it's concerning, it's energizing, it's exciting, it's all of those things. And as the word play suggests, there's an invitation to play with life, to play with life. To enjoy, just as people go to the theatre for enjoyment, there's an invitation to enjoy the play of life, to enjoy it. And just as the idea of the play suggests that it's the play of life is scripted, it's scripted. And so just like as the playwright can re-script a play, so the play of life can become re-scripted. So there's a tremendous amount of potential. What that suggests there is a tremendous amount of potential, creative potential, that is inherent to the play of life, to the play of life that presents as ups and downs, as on the personal level, for instance, I like this or I don't like this. I love this, what can I do to hold on to it? I dislike this so much, what can I do to avoid it? The play of life on a national level. We as a nation don't like what you, other nation, are doing, and other nation goes, we don't like what you're doing, and nations going to war. And there can be a great deal of drama on the surface of life. And it's possible to get very caught up in that drama, in taking sides, in defending and fighting. We can either end up fighting with ourselves. I don't like who I am. I want to change who I am. I'm going to do everything I can to change who I am. Fighting with another. And what can end up, sadly, is that the play of life is experienced as a place of suffering or burnout or disillusionment. And you might see that going on in your circles, in your community, on a collective scale, this suffering and this burnout. And the effort and the effort put into fighting and defending. Now, interestingly, if you end up somewhere like this, in this kind of conversation, which is an exploration of what we are, what are we? What is our true nature? Is the fighting and the suffering our lot, our destiny? Or is there something on offer to be discovered? And that's what draws people like you to this kind of conversation. It's the call, as some people put it, the call to awaken. It's an exploration of what is deeper than the surface of life. What is deeper than the drama? What is reality? And what's on offer as this exploration gains momentum and starts to become established, that what's on offer is that our true nature is realized, that what we are is not limited by the body, not limited by the idea of who we think we are. And this understanding is experienced as peace of mind, as simply put, this understanding of who we really are and what life really is experienced as peace of mind and happiness in daily life. Before this idea, or before this peace of mind and happiness becomes established in daily life, there is a realization of what is not true, of what appears to be true that is not. And that's what we meet for. We meet for this inquiry, to see together, and for that recognition of what's not true to be amplified in the group experience. See together what appears to be true, that is false, is not real. You know, I often refer to the image of the ocean with waves. Okay, and waves appear to be separate. There's wave A and wave B. They appear to be separate waves. They're shaped differently, behaving differently. And yet every single wave is made of ocean. There is no separate wave. There's no separate wave. There appears to be, but that is an appearance only. It's a surface appearance. It's not a wrongness. Waves, separate waves, have their own movement, separate expression. There's a beauty to that. But the reality is that no wave is separate. All waves are made of ocean. And so it is, I offer, in this exploration, we explore the sense of self, the me, the I that inhabits the body, that appears to be a separate body. And we invite this same inquiry that we appear to be separate from each other. And that's not a wrongness. There's nothing wrong with that appearance. But the invitation is to see this apparent separateness as not telling the whole story. That we are not separate from each other, just like waves are not separate from the ocean. We share a being. We share the same stuff that animates all of life. And it's in gatherings like this that this reality of the shared nature of our being is what we're interested in uncovering, and becomes a direct experience. Now, the separate appearance of the body-mind form is reinforced. The separateness, the belief that we're separate from each other is reinforced in life. It's reinforced. And so again, this is why I say it's not a wrongness that we believe we're separate from each other. It's simply a misunderstanding that gets perpetuated and has been reinforced over thousands of years in the life of humanity. But this misunderstanding of who we are has knock-on consequences. One huge consequence of believing we are separate from each other is that we are the doer. We are the doer of our life. We are doing our life. We are in control of our life. And if our life is not working out in the way we like it, we need to try harder. We are the doer. And if something appears not to be working in the world, we've got to try and change that thing in the world that is separate from us, that appears separate from us, to improve it. And if we're separate, then circumstances affect us in the belief we're separate, and that we're separate from circumstances, we're separate from others, we're separate from circumstances in the world, then circumstances can affect us in either good ways or bad ways. And this is the setup, this is the play of life. This is how the world appears to us, how life appears to us. We are subject to circumstances that are either good or bad. This is the play of life. And yet, as the understanding that there is no separation, we are not separate from the infinite energy that life is, the infinite energy that goes under many names, descriptors, depending on you know who you're talking with. Pure awareness, pure consciousness, love, light. I sprinkle these terms fairly liberally in this conversation. So, you know, bear with me if it seems I'm confusing things, if you have a different idea of awareness and consciousness. If we really investigate the languaging around consciousness, awareness, presence, love, light, these are all words pointing to one reality that goes beyond definition, goes beyond labeling, but can be known. So as our understanding deepens, that what we are is infinite light, potential, love, and as this understanding settles in, as what is not real, what is false, drops away. So as what appears true is seen to be a misunderstanding, the falsity, the misunderstanding starts to drop away, and there's simply a revelation, like an unveiling of our nature. We don't need to create the infinite potential we are. We don't have to manufacture it or build it up or strengthen it. There's simply an unveiling of it. And this unveiling, the unveiling of beliefs, the unveiling of misunderstanding of what we are, can sometimes be experienced in the process of it, can sometimes be experienced as a threat. As a threat. The remaining beliefs that I am a separate self can experience being under threat as what's false drops away, because the identification with the belief I am separate begins to loosen, begins to become translucent, transparent. And this, in the process of waking up, sometimes it's as though there's a dying. Sometimes even I've had conversations with people who say, and this I experienced this too, that I was dying. I was dying, and that thought for some can be alarming. Okay, and yet this is really a powerful pointer to the fact that the reality that is starting to be revealed, the misunderstanding that's starting to drop away. So this is where the notion of surrender comes in. That awakening, waking up to our true self, is a surrender, a process of surrender, but not a surrender that is a giving up. It's not I give up. I can't handle this. I give up. It's a giving over. It's a giving over to the process. Life is surrendering the separate self. The ocean is allowing the wave to collapse back into the formless ocean. As awakening happens, life is giving up on maintaining the belief in separation. And there's a resting back of the self into our true nature. And this resting back, this dissolving of what's not true, is experienced as coming home, feeling whole and complete, not separate anymore, not separate, feeling whole, complete. Wholeness is that is inseparable, indivisive. Wholeness is always whole and complete. It is not diminished or dented or wounded. And this realization of wholeness and completeness, from this understanding, it makes less and less sense to defend or fight or justify or resist. Because the experience is one of peace of mind and wholeness and completeness. And although there is daily living where the appearance of the body that appears separate, and there's the appearance of the world and others that appear separate, and that appearance continues in daily life, what enters in is a recognition of what is deeper than the surface appearances. What is deeper than surface appearances? The shared nature of our being is experienced. From the understanding that we share a being, it makes less sense to fight. It makes less sense to defend and justify. There's a recognition of the light and essence that all of life and all beings are. And this understanding is one that fosters and nurtures understanding, compassion, kindness, and cooperation.